Why, hello, and welcome to the Barely Normal podcast. This is episode 18, and I am your host, Luke. Although many years ago, when I was in preschool, I went by a name that I hated, a name that I loathed, a name I remember now fondly, MacGyver. Yeah, MacGyver. How cool is that? Flip. And yet I hated it. But I used to build stuff, so it totally makes sense, and I feel it was earned at a young age. But it's amazing the things that we remember from those times. Like I remember being in that preschool, and there was this girl who was so sweet. I have two memories of her. Basically, the teacher told us all not to run through the sprinklers, and we had the most fun running through the sprinklers. And then the teacher stood us in the bathroom all in a semicircle and asked us, "Why are you here?" And this little girl said, "To wash my hands." And this teacher's face just dropped. He goes, "What do you say to that?" Yeah, we still got beat. Anyway, the second time was I didn't have the forethought to get toilet paper, and so I asked the next person who came in, which was this girl, and I asked her, and she handed me the most perfectly folded, crisp toilet paper. I swear it was like 100 ply and kissed by an angel. I felt it was too good for what I intended. So I just tore bits off and used it as much as I could. But yeah, it makes me wonder whether how much sticks with us, you know? Like MacGyver. That guy was so self-reliant. And it really makes me wonder, like, am I just that kind of person, or did I become that kind of person because I liked MacGyver? Or maybe MacGyver just resonated with me, and that's why I liked it. But it resonates with a lot of people, and a lot of people don't get nicknamed MacGyver. So, But years later, I did a commercial dive course. And the key thing that they teach was self-reliance. Because if you're trapped in an area that's confined with another person, and it's life or death, well, you're going to act as if it's life or death. And, well, you don't have any control of how big they are. So they teach you self-reliance. They teach you to dive on your own. But they also teach you in real time. So imagine being 35 meters underwater, and you look up, it's a beautiful clear day, and you can see the boats, there, this tiny little thing. And you look down, and you're on a shipwreck, and you see some crayfish, and you're breathing, and it's a great day. You're like, what? Your air's off. Or you're diving, and it is so cold. And suddenly your mask just gets ripped off, and your nice warm face just starts aching with this icy, penetrating, dull, aching pain. What do? You can't shoot up to the top, you don't have air, and you'll get the bends. They teach you self-reliance. Dum, dum, dum. And one day I was actually asked to help train people after I finished the course, which I take as quite a great thing. And people prefer to dive with me, which I take as a badge of honor. But one day the instructor asked me to help train somebody else, and they were my safety diver. All they had to do was come into a dam, zero visibility, follow a rope, and rescue me. All I had to do was do my normal dive and then let out a whole bunch of air, so it looks like something's happening. Then hold my breath, and then there's no air. So at the top, it's just lots of air and then nothing. And when you're diving, there's air all continuously because they're continually breathing, you know. And then, yeah, so just to scare the guy into rescuing me. And this is after I was supposed to do whatever training thing. So the rescue diver didn't know that this was going to happen. And I was asked because I had a long breath hold. So I'm doing this dive, and it is completely zero visibility. Like, you can't tell if your eyes are open or closed. And I'm opening my eyes, open and close, as hard as I can to try and recognize the sensations of opening and closing my eyes to see which one's which. It's that dark. So I've got no idea how much air I've got left. I've just done my training dive, and now I've got to, I let out a whole bunch of air, and then I hold my breath as long as I can. The whole time I'm thinking, sheesh, I wonder if I'm going to hear this guy come into the water or something. It's 10 meter deep kind of dam, but yeah, who knows? Like, is he going? Anyway, time goes by, put the regulator back in my mouth, I breathe again, and then I try and move, and I realize I'm stuck in zero visibility, underwater. I am tangled in my ropes. People die from this all the time in cave diving. It is kind of chilling in retrospect. Anyway, so I very slowly take off each part of my kit and untangle it and put it back, all while making sure that my weight belt I don't let go of my weight belt and shoot to the top, because then you get the bends. And I finally get all this done, and there's scaffolding and all kinds of stuff there, and my rope is just super tangled, and I don't know how much air I have left. And eventually get all my stuff together, and I follow the rope, and the rope is tangled all the way along the back, and I get out, and my safety diver is now on the opposite bank. He had tied my rope to a tree, and he was sitting on the opposite bank having a smoke, and he's like, yeah, I saw all the air, man. What happened? But I had a lot of really, 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 really great memories from the course, though. Like walls of jellyfish. Maybe they're like the current or the warm current or something. But once I finished that course, I heard that there was another course that almost made MacGyver-esque type people for the government. And I was like, what? And this course ranged from everything from electronics to digital systems to marine biology to physics to calculations and statistics. Yeah, almost you name it. And it also apparently had the highest dropout rate. And something in me went, oh, that sounds like something for me. And so I actually ended up working while I was still studying and working for the government, and which made me feel really chuffed. I kind of felt like a MacGyver, but the work was not MacGyver work. I had been tricked. But the most interesting thing that I learned, that you might find interesting, is why you can't catch hake when the wind blows southeasterly. So some fancy people went out and asked some fishermen why. And the fishermen said, well, when the wind blows, these fish like to be at the bottom, and when the wind blows, it stirs up that water, and yeah, that's why you can't catch them. I'm like, oh, so they pat themselves in the back and they buy a fisherman a beer, and they go off and publish their results. But some other smart people went, wait a second, there's more than one kind of hake. There's coastal hake, which is Merilucius capensis, but then there's also Merilucius paradoxus, which is deep water hake, which is most of the hake that you probably buy in supermarkets. Why? Oh, why, oh, why? Because it doesn't matter how much wind blows, it's only going to affect the top 10 meters of visibility. Anything underneath that, it's fine. And these fish are like 120 meters deep. So why does the wind blow? And this is the fascinating thing. It's all because of something called Coriolis force. It's kind of, if you're in the southern hemisphere and the wind or water hits your back, it's going to deviate to the left. Oh, that's the end. Basically, if you have lots of water deviating to the left, you end up with a big mountain of it. And, all that water's got to come from somewhere, and it turns out it comes from the bottom. And it muddies up the water, and the fish don't like it. And that's why you can't catch hake. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful day. Love you. Bye.